Good morning and welcome to Spooktober Day 1. I'm in Berlin this week, so you can hear the trains in the background. I'm currently walking to meet a friend for breakfast. And I am also hoping to finish reading Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell soon, which is not spooky, except you can find class relations, gossip, and young love spooky. But yeah, I don't have a book on me right now. I'm gonna walk through a bustly Monday morning centre of Berlin and hopefully get to reading a bit later. I just wanted to say hi, good morning, and yay, let's begin. Hey, it's 3 p.m. now on day 2 of Spookathon, and bad news, I'm still not reading any spooky things. I'm about like 80% through Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell, so I'm just going to push through that. I'm going to go out into the city in a little bit. So I'm going to take my Kindle with me, read Wives and Daughters, hopefully finish that so that at the very latest tomorrow I can start with a thriller. I'm also listening to The Lost World still by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, which is picking up, but actually also like a little bit scary, sort of. But yeah, no, also no thriller. But I've done a lot of book shopping and perusing bookshops so far. 2 used bookshops in Neukölln in Berlin. One's called The Curious Fox, which had a few new books as well. So it all sort of seemed quite tidy for a used bookshop. And the other was the Berlin Book Nook. They have 3 different spots in Berlin. And I went to the one in Neukölln. They also have one in Wedding, which I looked at today, but that was a bit small. They had sort of obscure, older non-fiction books. Didn't really tickle my fancy. But yeah, really enjoying being in Berlin. You know, breathing in some big city air. And so far not doing too much reading. Hey, it's the afternoon of day 3 and I just had a lunch break with one of my oldest and dearest friends, so not much of reading ensued, but I am almost finished with Wives and Daughters, and then on day 3 of Spookathon I might in fact be able to read a thriller, finally. So far not great, but here's a little update from the far west in Berlin, which is very pretty and autumnal, and I'll check in with you later. Phew. Good morning and welcome to Spookathon Day 4, in which I finally start reading a thriller. So far, it's not been going well. I finished Wives and Daughters, a Victorian novel about gossip, finding someone to love, class, town folk. So spooky to some, but not realistically actually for Spookathon. So I will be picking up Good Me, Bad Me by Ali Land. Looking forward to reading this. will be carrying this around with me because I've forgotten how much you end up being in trains, trams, underground if you are visiting people in Berlin. I'm off to meet a friend for breakfast now. Did I say that? Also, I'm matching with my friend's pillow. That's nice. Yes, so it's Thursday and I'm only really just starting. So I might have to adjust my plans. We'll see. Yeah, I hope you're having a good day and I'll see you guys later. It's 4 p.m. in the afternoon now and I just read the first 40 pages of Good Me, Bad Me. Ooh, and I think it's going to be really spooky. We've met the girl that the story is about, Millie, whose real name is not Millie, and her mother is a killer and also a horrible person. I would presume that would be a given. But there's obviously some really, really deeply entrenched trauma going on. Millie, I think, is sort of 15, 16, something like that. And I think she's on the edge of, well, going bad as well, as the title says. It sounds really creepy so far. So I'm really happy, even though it is a bit late in the week, it being Thursday, that I'm finally starting to actually read a spooky book. And I think it will also be a really quick read, actually. These 40 pages can't have taken longer than half an hour. So I'm going to read a little bit more now. I'm waiting for my friend to come home. I'm joined by very, very cute flatmates of my friends. And yeah, waiting for her to come home. Then we're going to go out and eat some ramen. And then I'm going to check out the brewery in the evening that is close by. So a good day, and I have a window to read now because I won't be able to read once I'm, socialising. Difficult. Yeah, so I'm going to push on with this a bit. I'm hoping to, read this today, tomorrow, and actually finish it. We'll see. I think it's quite fast-paced, so hopefully that'll work. That's the plan. And welcome to day 5. I got to page 90 in Good Me, Bad Me yesterday, and I didn't read loads, so it really is a quick read, as I did expect. I am off to check out another bookshop now in my tour of Berlin bookshops, and then meeting a friend for coffee. What a nice life, what a nice week. I'll take my book with me, maybe in between coffee dates on the train, I don't know. I'll get to read some more. I'll just try to dip in and out of it. It's really spooky, so I would love to be able to just sit down for 2 hours straight and read through it. But we'll see. Yeah, happy Friday. Final day, Sunday. We are back in Berlin, but struggling with the dog.
We're back in Münster.
Oh yeah. Oh, so confused. We are walking to the train station right now because we have a day of Dungeons and Dragons ahead, which, bums me out. I want to read. No, not really. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. I'm almost through The Invisible Man, which I started yesterday evening on the train and read a little bit this morning. So I will finish that, but can't make any promises for the rest of the day. I'll check in with you later though. Hey, it's Monday now, so Spookathon is officially over, but I thought I'd give you a rundown of what happened in the week. Of course, I missed my dog very, very much, she's glad to have me back. I have a very kind friend that looks after her if I have to go away. But in the Spookathon week, I finished reading Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. This, I guess, fits the prompt of being set in the past, but it's not a thriller, it's not spooky, it doesn't have purple on the cover. Don't push my phone, please, doggo. But it was great. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, I believe. I couldn't really give it the last final star because Elizabeth Gaskell unfortunately never finished this book. And I would have wanted the ending in her own words to really give it that 5th star. This is the story about Molly Gibson, whose father remarries, and then all kinds of relationship-y things ensue. This is a Victorian novel, but I was really positively surprised how fun and easy it is to read. I didn't find it dense at all, even though it is quite chunky and she doesn't even get to the ending in that book. But I do really recommend this. I now want to move on and read North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, also because I'll actually get a book that has an ending. Then I also read The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Well, listen to it. This obviously is an audiobook. This I also really, really liked. This is the story of the journalist who joins the acclaimed Professor Challenger and 2 other men whose names evade me right now, to seek the lost world, where Professor Challenger claims there are dinosaurs and potential other scientific discoveries that will change our view on evolution. This was actually much more fun than I thought it would be. I loved Professor Challenger. He's this really, really full of himself, arrogant, intelligent guy, who I just thought was really funny. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle obviously has also written the Sherlock Holmes novels, and I remember reading a review of The Lost World on Goodreads where someone says that the Professor Challenger is an even more cocky, horrible version of Sherlock Holmes, and I kind of have to agree. Then I did finally read a thriller, Good Me, Bad Me by Ali Land. This is the story of a teenage girl who is the daughter of a female serial killer, a killer of children, which plays on so many of our sort of innate tendencies to be even more shocked when there is a female violent perpetrator. And that is commented on that book as well. She ends up going to a foster family. She lives with her psychologist as she is prepared for the trial of her mother before court. And it was really creepy. It was a really good pick for Spookathon because there are parts in this book where you really have to push on. It's such a horrible topic. But unfortunately, the ending fell a bit flat for me. I felt like some of it was just there to shock me, and there are parts of this book that are set in school, high school. Molly obviously has to go to school, so there's sort of like commentary on how she like tries to fit in, and like bullying and sort of high school dynamics, and how that can also be really horrible. Maybe not quite as horrible as torturing and killing some children, but sometimes I thought that those 2 parallel storylines were a bit forced, and I did get a bit, well, not bored, but I thought those parts dragged on a little bit. Yeah, I didn't love the ending either. I thought that was quite expected. So even though it kept me on my toes, I didn't love it in the end. And then the book that is set in the past kind of has purple on its cover because unfortunately I didn't end up reading the pick that I was planning to read. I wasn't bored, I was having a good time. I didn't do as much reading as I wanted to. I read The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. I finished this yesterday, so on the final day of the Spookathon. This is the story of a man's experiments gone wrong. They turn him into an invisible man, and it's a very short little book, and explores basically what will turn us evil, what can turn us against mankind. I can't say that it was a super impactful story for me, to be honest. It's a really quick read, not just because it's short, but also because not that much happens. I do really love these editions, though. I must admit they look pretty in the bookshelf, so I don't regret having these. Also, I just like reading the sort of traditional fantasy, sci-fi, horror stories, whichever you want to class this as. So I do quite like having the actual editions to collect. I must admit, I'm a sucker for that. So that's everything I read or finished, as I had started the first two things before Spookathon commenced. I had a great week, not just because of these books, but also because it was just so nice to go back to my home city, Berlin. I am from Berlin originally, and I hope to go back soon. I hope you had a really good week as well. I enjoyed it, and I will see you very soon. Bye. I'll do the really sad thing of waving. I think I've promised my boyfriend that I would never do that with our dog. I can cut that out. Bye.